Yes, again, that is the internet, created by whom again? Created by we the people. We the people of the United States of America. Anyway, well, not only the United States, we had a whole lot of help around there, but anyway, we have a lot to talk about today, folks. A lot to talk about today. But without further ado, we must go to the studio with our resident genius, El Señor Howard Reynolds, Jack Van Bebbe. You know, today Mayana is off. We don't have the tender voice of a woman, but you know what? We have those other voices there that come in strong. How you doing, guys?
Well, I can try to pretend to be a woman.
Listen. You caught me off guard with that one, buddy. You caught me off guard. I definitely didn't expect that.
You should see him in a dress.
I'm telling you what.
How is it dressed, Jack?
Said you should see him in a dress.
Yeah, oh, wow.
It's shaving around my knees, that really bothers me so much,
Oh, I hope you shaved.
Razor cuts on my knees. Oh, boy. What a way to start out the 8th of October on a Wednesday morning at the radio 2025. And we are all together here, the tin cans and stringer holding up. Sounds like you got a little bit of a off-mic echo there, Egberto. You might want to check that before you get started.
Ooh.
Yeah, just a little bit. You sound like you're talking from the other room.
Oh, okay. Is this any better?
Yes, it's much better.
Great.
Sound like you're talking in my ears now.
Okay, good.
Jack, did you go and get the internet back from those billionaires yet?
Well, we're working on it.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos is just not budging.
Yeah, he's a little sucked up too tight to the current administration.
Oh,
the current administration? You mean the one that are invading the U.S. cities with the National Guard?
Yeah, the one that are worried about the enemy from within.
Yeah, well, they are the enemy from within. They're in the wrong city. It's Washington, D.C. where they need to be.
Yeah.
That's about the end of my rant there. Jack, do you have any wisdom today?
No
wait,
wisdom.
Wait. You mean we haven't heard from you in 4 radio days, and there's nobody that gave you hell on Facebook to tell us about?
Oh, yeah. Well, this is just the typical MAGA stuff. The MAGA misfires is what I call them. When they go, well, you're just a liberal and you're just a... No, I'm an ex-Republican.
He's not a liberal, guys. Trust me. I know him well. He's not a liberal.
Well, I believe in liberal values. If you look at the liberal values, those are what I prescribe in. And believe it or not, the Constitution was written by liberals and radical liberals at that. How dare these, crown people, how dare these citizens of the crown go over there to a country and establish their own country and say, we're making our rules, we're going to rule ourselves. Goodbye. That's pretty radical for the time.
Yeah, we used to like kings, right? Now we look like we're reverting back to a king.
Well, no, we're not. And we're not going to.
There you go. That's what I want to hear.
Alrighty then. Well, Jack has his, he's got his phone. He's moved into the 21st century and put aside pen and paper so he can read his phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna read your headlines this morning. All right. As the planet races towards renewable future, America faces a perilous crossroads, one driven by political sabotage, greed, and neglect. While wind and solar energy now surpass coal globally, the United States, under Trump's regressive policies, is stumbling backward into fossil fuel dependence. Meanwhile, Senator Bernie Sanders' alarming report on America's healthcare crisis reveals the devastating reality millions face daily. Citizens terrified that their next medical bill could kill them. In a surprising twist, even MAGA's firebrand Marjorie Taylor Greene is breaking with GOP leadership, echoing a key Democratic demand to preserve Obamacare funding as the nation teeters on the edge of another shutdown. The show explores the clash between compassion and cruelty, progress and regression, and asks, what kind of nation does America want to be? That was perfect. Egberto, that was perfect for you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you, my brother. Let me just say, and thank you for opening the program because, with that, because that is exactly where I want to start. So if both you and Howard don't have anything else to say, I want to start there. Anything else you guys want to add?
No, take it away, Egberto.
I think we're good here.
All right, let me tell you something, guys. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to say specifically. We told you so, but I think it's because this is not a joke. This is people's lives, and whenever progressives speak, and I'm not talking about social issues here. I'm not talking about whether you want women's rights with regards with women's rights on abortion or not. Look, I am staunchly in favor of a woman's right to do whatever she wants with her body, and I don't have the right as a person, and albeit a man, to tell a woman anything. That's my stance. I don't really care what anybody else's stances are, but I know my stance is I will not be a part of oppressing another person. But that's not what we're talking about. Because those kinds of things, while they shouldn't be debatable, those are things outside of the realm of absolutely everybody. And I can go on to a bunch of different social issues that we'll never agree on, but we shouldn't have to agree on these things. But when it comes to the existential nature of you surviving, and that's a double talk right there, of you surviving, it shouldn't be difficult for us to be all on the same page. And yesterday, if you remember, I played a piece by Ocasio-Cortez, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, that said that she pulled one of her Republican colleagues aside, and she said, "Look, you ought to know, or don't. What do you feel about what's going to happen to your constituents? I mean, these are people that can't afford their insurance as it is right now." And we're talking about it increasing, not in the 10 top states, 10 top Republicans. Well, put it this way. In the states that are getting affected the most, it's 10 red states, with West Virginia at the top and Texas in the middle. Your rates will be, and this is no longer conjecture. This is fact. This is what we told you was going to happen. This is exactly what has happened. The letters are already being sent out telling people what the coverage is going to be. This is what's out there now. And she asked him, what are you going to tell your constituencies about the hospital's closings? Remember? Republicans, while they were passing the big, beautiful bill, they said, nah, that's not true. That's just Democratic propaganda. That's all it was. That's all it was. Then when we said the people's rates are going to go sky high, nope. We're giving that's $1 trillion worth of waste. I mean, it was unless you decided to be willfully ignorant, you can't take $1 trillion over 10 years out of a program and somehow that program remains intact, and that only guys playing video games in the basement and those illegals are going to take advantage of it. But when you believe a lie, and when your ideology is based on a lie that illegals are getting all these services from our government that is taken away from all of us, that's a lie. But when you have inculcated that into the minds of your constituents, the next lie is easy. Telling them they're lying about what's going to happen to your health care. That lie becomes easy and believable. because you've already programmed your constituents to a lie. But now what happens? Reality takes its head out. Reality comes out, and it starts to say, oh my God, I'm really getting that letter. So this person told Ocasio-Cortez, up to last week, he was still in the belief that this was just Democratic propaganda, that this was just Democrats trying to scare Republicans. Here are the top 5 states: West Virginia, Wyoming, Alaska, Tennessee, Mississippi. There's a 387% increase in their rates. In other words, almost 4 times what they're paying right now is what they will have to pay. 4 times what they'll have to pay if they want to keep their insurance. Which means, I'm looking at the screen right now, which means most of these states, most of the MAGA folks in these states will simply let insurance forego. And you know what? They knew it. The next 5 is Texas, South Carolina, Alabama, South Dakota, and North Dakota. Insurance, those particular ones, insurance are going up by 3 times as much, more than 3 times as much. It's happening now. It's no longer conjecture. It's no longer politics. It's what you're getting in the mail. Those people, the farmers that are on the ACA, and a lot of them as small businesses are on the ACA. All these folks that voted for the Republicans and voted to say, yes, we want the big old bill, because all they had to do to get your support is to tell you it's the damn immigrants and those other people that are getting these programs, and we're not going to take it away from you. It's just them that we're going to make sure they don't get it. Well, the fact is they never got it. It has always been illegal, and this lie they have been telling you for year after year. And when we hear in politics done right, we've been telling you that they've been lying to you for years. For years. You know, you have been getting the benefits from this program, in as much as I am not fond of this program, because I want Medicare for all. It makes the most fiscal sense. It will cost us billions of dollars less every year. It just affects the corporations, the people who the Republicans really care about. They never cared about you. Do you ever think they cared about you? You are just a cog, a wedge, or not a wedge. You are just a cog, a widget is what I wanted to say for them. They fill you up with hate. Hate me. You see, we have a few callers that hate. Put some hate in your heart, and I can take whatever I want away from you. And that's what they're doing. Put that hate in your heart, and now however you pay. But they don't care, because they know a lot of their followers are dirt poor. They're used to being poor. They're used to spending their money on crap. So they buy those big red Make America Great hats, because they get a feeling of belonging to something. By the way, MAGA, come and belong to us. Come and belong to us. Our policies actually serve you, MAGA. I really want to be your friend. I want to be your brother. And I'm not saying this facetiously. I'm saying this because I mean this. Forget about the hate. We actually in the same boat. We're in the same boat. The hate is a tool. The hate is a tool they used on you to vote against your interests. And now a large percentage of you are going to be out of insurance, out of health care. And some of you are going to die. Some of you will die, even if they solve this problem by reinstituting the subsidies. Even if they solve that, the prices are still going up, because we have voted to cut. And because of something called rescission on Medicare, it won't only affect the people on the ACA, but it'll affect all of us. with the rate increases. Some corporations, to keep people, are going to try to eat some of it because they're making so much money right now. The corporations are. Some of them are going to try this year to eat the bill because they don't want the Democrats to come back into power. So they figure if they'll eat the bill a bit more, just like some of them have eaten the tariff for a while, but now not so much. You have been played, and they continue to play you. Come join the fold. Come join those who really care about humanity. So maybe now that one of the most outspoken MAGA Republican leaders out there have found that her caucus has lied to her and come out strongly, maybe you'll see it. I want to read you something. Marjorie Taylor Greene, no friend of the progressives, no friend of mine, somebody that for all practical purposes for what she has done, I find it hard to break bread with. But I would go have a cup of coffee with Marjorie Taylor Greene today if she came by and say, let's talk to the people and let's bring them back into the fold. And you know what, Marjorie? If you change your ways, welcome to you as well. But here it goes. Here's the story. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene isn't backing down from her very public break with fellow Republicans on health care that shook up Washington. In an extensive interview on Tuesday, Greene, Republican of Georgia, accused her party of not having a plan on health care and made the case that it should be working to fix the problem now, not yesterday, now. And you know what? She's right. She's right. They had no plan. That's how much they care about you. They care about you so much that they made sure to take care of the billionaires first with the big, beautiful bill. Their tax cuts were made permanent. So they took care of that. They took care of that. They snowed you into thinking that you were going to be able to take advantage of no tax on tips, but you weren't paying tax on tips for the most part anyway, because your standard deduction made that irrelevant. And they also came out and said no tax on overtime. And guess what? You weren't paying tax on a lot of overtime anyway, because the standard deduction meant that you didn't qualify for that, taking that deduction. You never got it anyway. And then all your other costs went up. So even if you were a part of the people who could take advantage on the tax on tips, all of that money was eaten up into your health care and your groceries. But you know who got it permanently? The rich people. All those tax deductions that corporations get, etc., they kept it. You know, your no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, you know that expires when Donald Trump is supposed to leave office. Did you know that? They didn't tell you that, right? But you know, all the tax cuts they gave to the wealthy guys, no, that doesn't go away. Never goes away. If Republicans stay in power, that never goes away. So who do they care about? Who do they care about? So Marjorie Taylor Greene says, when it comes to the point where families are spending, this is from Margie. When it comes to the point where families are spending anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000 a month and looking at hikes coming on their insurance premiums, I think that's unforgivable. That's Marjorie. That's not me. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene telling her caucus, you lied to us. How dare you let us screw our constituents the way you have allowed us to screw our constituents? We didn't know, but you know what, Marjorie? You should have known. You should have known. That's your constituents. You ought to be out there instead of speaking all the crap that you speak. You should be out there making sure your constituents are taken care of. LBW says, Professora LBW, a teacher, says, even a broken clock is right twice a day. She got it right on the Epstein files and now on healthcare. So I guess she's exhausted her right from being broken. So she comes out. That probably guarantees that she's going to win the election in Georgia. That probably will win it for her as she goes against evil. GOP leaders in Congress are desperately working to keep their ranks unified amid Republican efforts to reopen the federal government without making any concessions to Democrats. Well, you know what? The Democrats are in the upper hand right now because you know what? The people are starting to get the letters. People are seeing that it is true. Congresswoman Greene does not, this is what the House Mike Johnson says now. Congresswoman Greene does not serve on the committees of jurisdiction that deal with those specialized issues, and she probably not read in some of that. Well, Mr. Johnson, nobody's listening to you because the people are already receiving their letters that says that's what their insurance rates are going to be. They're not listening to you because you lie with a smile. You lie with an innocent looking boy's face. And notice I said boy. It's like a little boy that Donald Trump rubs your head and you move. It is sad. It is sad that we've come to this. Democrats have got to hold out. They've got to hold out. Glenn Ryan says she got it right on aid to Israel as well. She came out against it. Yeah. Instead of backing down in the face of critics from party leadership, Greene decided to go all in. The reality is they never talk about it. That's what she says. And that committee working on, say, health insurance and the industry, that doesn't happen in it's not a major secret, Greene said, adding that Johnson hasn't reached out to discuss her concerns. When reached for comment, Johnson's office referred back to Speaker's remark to reporters. In other words, to hell with Greene now because you fucked us. Greene says, what I am upset over is my party has no solution. I repeat, Greene says, my party, what I am upset over is my party has no solution. It's something that we talk about frequently, but it is a reality for Americans, and it is something that I don't think we can ignore. I really want to fix it. There you go. There you go. So to all the MAGA folks who call in here and dispute what's going to happen, do you have to be kicked first? Do you have to taste the poison and die first before you realize what's going on? You know, again, most of MAGA live paycheck to paycheck. The truth of the matter is blue states have always been the ones holding up the red states. As the red states talk about low taxes and no insurance, etc., they have always been getting from the blue states because they pay less into government than they get. So they have always been welfare states. Always been welfare states with a big mouth. Welfare states, all the 10 states that I mentioned are all taking, well, most of them are all taking more from the federal government than they're putting in. They don't have the right to talk as if they support their people. The education level, less than. Healthcare, less than. Aren't you tired of people who are not looking out for your well-being? Aren't you tired? And to my progressive brothers and sisters, give our MAGA brothers a place to land. The truth of the matter is we need them too. We need them to smarten up. We need them to get rid of the hate. We need them to do that and work together, because the enemy is not us all. It's not, they are not the enemy and we are not the enemy. The enemy is an extractive, exploitative economic system. And in order for an exploitative economic system to work, we have to create friction and hate among the population. That's why you're seeing all the raids on TV. They want you to think there's some sort of a war with these people. These people are living life like anybody else. We need these people. We need the immigrants like no other. We need them. Hate is starting the steady decline of our country. The decline of our country has begun. I mean, it started in when Reagan got elected in 1980. The seeds were planted. And, you know, I've gone through the whole scenario with Reagan in, as I see it, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom. It started with Reagan. And remember how I spoke to you guys yesterday about exponential growth? One cell divides, it becomes two, which is 2 + 1, 3. Two cells, those three, actually then those 3 cells divide and you get 6, then 8. And it grows exponential. Each iteration, it gets busy. Have a great meeting, LBW. Sorry you had to leave early, but I know you're a teacher, making sure our kids are educated. Thank you for doing that. Look, exponential growth. That's why under Reagan, it didn't look as bad as it really was, but he planted the seed. By the time Bush 2 came along, we had an economic crash. That economic crash put the fear of God in the capitalists. They thought, oh my God, people are going to realize that we are a fraud and they're going to close rank. And it was about to happen. We were about to shut down the banks, make the banks public as they should. But we didn't. Glass-Steagall and all of that were straightened a little bit, but we didn't. We didn't. And they started building towards this new crash again. And we didn't. And we didn't. We're running out of time. We're running out of time. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, you did a good thing. You know, and like I said, you know, I am not in for, my thoughts are not about, holding things up against people. My thought is what best serve us all. And I'll take in anybody that opens their eyes and say, you know what, let's work together to make a better country. Because what these guys are doing right now, they are terrorizing the masses. I repeat, yes, they are terrorizing the masses. And what you see in the streets right now against the immigrants is a practice session. These are people that are very highly paid to get thugs to do that in the open. Notice they all have their faces covered, but to get these thugs to do it in the open, well paid. I understand we're talking a $50,000 bonus, and I don't remember how a lot of money for the monthlies to go out there and bring people in. Now, what we are seeing with what's happening with healthcare, what we are seeing with what happens with insurance, with inflation, etc. Let me tell you the dirty little secret. When people don't have anything to lose, they don't have anything to lose. And many a times they react. That is how violent confrontation begins. One of the things that I've constantly said is, what will MAGA do when they realize they have been had? They're well armed. They act quickly. I mean, even as you hear these people talk about, the left wing is the one that's fomenting violence. We all know from all reports that all this violence is coming from the right, shooting guns. They're weaponized, and they act out. And don't you think that making the... Let me just let you guys read the tea leaves. The largest budget increase that we had is for ICE. Okay, it's a local police force. No, I'm sorry, a national police force. Think about this. ICE, a national police force funded more so than any other police forces combined. A national police force of well-paid, well-armed people. They are practicing like they always practice on the people that don't matter to them. The immigrant, the people with melanin. They're practicing on those people right now. Notice when they went into that building with helicopter. Think about this, an apartment building in Chicago. You land in there with helicopters and repel people onto the top of buildings with snipers. And then you go and you break down the doors in every single apartment complex in there. We know who lived in there. Yes, immigrants and black people. So we can do that because as long as the masses in America doesn't see people that look like them tied up with their hands in the back with duct ties and sitting in the streets for 3 hours. American citizens, we can practice with those people because enough of America won't give you the outcry. But it's a practice session. And guess what, MAGA? That practice session is not for those immigrants and not for those black folk. What has happened to those people en masse in that apartment complex? Individual people of color see that on a daily basis by cop. They're used to it. Yeah, they fight back, but they're used to that kind of treatment in this country. They're used to it. That is a practice session for how they intend to handle you. Because you are going to eventually find out that you've been had. They lied to you. They told you all the things that's not true while they were robbing you blind into and codifying it into law. They codified into law that they are going to screw you. And when that comes to pass, many of you who are armed that don't buy the Kool-Aid, like one of my friends here in the chat who says, and Ernie Boxhall, and the black community of Washington have welcomed the president's National Guard. Yeah, you're listening to right-wing radio again. No, they haven't. It's easy to pay somebody to say a few things. Brother, again, I feel for you. Willful ignorance is a thing. Jacqueline Campisi is in the house. Jacqueline from a professor from Katy, Texas. Welcome aboard, Jacqueline. Great to have you here. She says, not sure if true, but even Marjorie Taylor Greene is up over the... Yes, it's true. And I just spoke about it, sis. I just spoke about it. Jimmy Doon says, I'm listening from St. Simons Island, Georgia. Yes to modern technology. Jimmy Dunn. Hey, you guys know Jimmy. He calls in all of the times. He wanted to know, I'm going out of town, but I want to listen to the program still. So he's listening to the program as he's vacationing in Georgia. I hope you enjoy your vacation. Paul Fleming is in the house. Welcome, Paul. Love to have you here as well. Paul is from Powder Springs, Georgia. Jacqueline, Katy, Texas. We also have Jimmy now in Georgia. Wow, love it. So, folks, this is practice session, and as MAGA starts to revolt, Adam W. from Western Pennsylvania is in the house as well. We are all over. We cover the entire country now. In the chat, which is a representative sample of the people that are listening, covers the entire country. Love you all. Look, guys, this national police force is not really for the immigrants. There are not enough immigrants for this. This is for MAGA. This is for when MAGA starts to react when they find out they've been had. And we know they're armed. If this was just for our good old immigrants and black community, guess what would not have been needed? All the body armor that you see them wearing, none of that would be needed. Because all the immigrants gonna do is run. And like I says, and the other people of color, they're used to being harassed by the cops already, so it's nothing new. But it's our MAGA brothers and sisters. This is for you, and I know you don't quite see it yet. But this national police force, it's not for the progressives, it's not for the liberals. Liberals don't go out there and shoot people up. This is for you. That's why they have all the armor on. This is for you. So let's see what happens in a year or two. They are already practicing, and the practicing is going pretty well. The rappelling on that apartment building went pretty well. It looked like, hey, it was war against the citizens, and it worked. It looked good to them. John A. Davis says, yes, they do pay people to spread their lies and call in programs like yours with the right-wing propaganda. Yes, what they do. Those of you who are listening to my program, MAGA who's listening to my program, willful ignorance will harm you. All right, looks like we're starting to get some calls. Telephone number 28. Nope, that's the wrong one I have on the screen. Whoops. Whoop-de-doo. I better put the right one on the screen. Call-in number 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. Let's go to Margaret, line 1. Come on in, Margaret. How you doing, beautiful?
Good. I just wanted to let everybody know that ICE is wanting to go into 21 cities, including Spokane, which is 10 minutes from me. Mm-hmm. And they want, for 10-year lease, buildings for ICE with like 70 desks, soundproof rooms, tenants that want to work with the federal department. But what a waste of money that could go for health care. It's disgusting. So, look for a town near you.
That tells you two things, Margaret. They think that they're laying the foundation for a long stay in power. Think about that 10-year lease. They think they're staying in power for a long time. That's what they're doing. They're wanting to go into these cities and scare people not to vote, so that they will hold on to power. But I want to tell the entire country, you can prevent that by going out to vote en masse and also going with friends. You don't go alone. You go in packs. When you're going to vote, don't vote alone. Go in packs. That's what you want to do. Margaret, anything else you want to add to that, sis?
All I know is Washington State is mail-in voting. Thank God.
Thank God.
Everybody get together, stand up, march, educate, whatever we need to do to save our country.
Thank you, Margaret. And that is that's what we're doing here, Mark, trying to inform. And notice we're talking to our MAGA brothers and sisters, and we're laying the path out for them as well. Join the fold. Thank you, Margaret. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Thank you.
All right, let's go to David out of San Francisco. Come on in, David.
Oh, morning, Egberto. Yeah, I'm glad I followed her. It's kind of grim to hear about the massive amount of desks and whatnot. I wonder how many of those similar offices they're going to have in each of the cities. It's a little grim, like you're saying, the 10-year plan. Donald Trump being a realtor guy, you'd think that he'd have some opportunity to get deals, but at the same time, if you think about him as being organized crime, and I think I've mentioned that in earlier shows, he's really setting it up so that his gang has anchors in each of those cities.
Mm-hmm.
And so the idea that America is allowing an organized crime guy from New York to set up his gang headquarters in each of many cities, that's a little grim. He's creating territories.
Well, the thing about it, though, is if Donald Trump was smarter, I would be concerned. If the people behind him were smarter, I would be more concerned than I am right now. I mean, his brain happens to be Stephen Miller. Stephen Miller is a body of hate, but not a lot of tactics upstairs. I would be more concerned. And the thing about it is, if there were a whole lot of smart people running this stuff, I would be concerned. But because I know these people, yeah, they have billionaires backing them like Peter Thiel and these others, but the people executing it aren't doing, Peter Thiel and these guys could only get a whole bunch. Most Americans love their country, David. We love the country. We don't want an authoritarian control of the country. We don't. All right. And the fact that the people that are making the sweat dreams of Peter Thiel and other billionaires come through are guys like Stephen Miller and Vought and Trump and so forth, gives you a bit of pleasure that the billionaires could only get guys of that caliber to do the work. And while we're going to feel pain for a while, because Americans are not used to this type of both ideological and physical violence. We have grown out of that. And unfortunately, we have to get our fighting spirit primed again. And you know what? That's why we are here. That's why you are speaking to me right now. That's why you are out there doing it. That's why you see Margaret keeping Spokane in check. Right? And there are a lot of Margarets all over. I talk to them. I mean, on tomorrow a lot of Margarets are going to be out here in Kingwood. I mean, and out there in front of Cornyn's office. I mean, look, the people are starting to wake up.
Sure. Yeah. I just wrap up the idea that they're trying to claim that this big beautiful bill, or excuse me, the failure to pass the bill, the budget bill, is based upon the medical thing. It's really based upon making sure the Epstein file doesn't get released. Was it the brand new congresswoman from Arizona, Gravalda, that she's not sworn in, and she's the final vote needed to release the Epstein file? That's the reason why the government shut down.
Well, let me just give for the people waiting on her vote. I think there's a caveat in there in that after that discharge petition is launched, it also has to go to the Senate, if I recall correctly, to get the vote. And then that puts the senators on the spot to say, no, don't release it. But we'll see what happens. Thank you very much, David. You have a wonderful rest of your day. All right. Let's go to Bruce. Come on in, Bruce, line number 1.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bruce.
Can you hear me? Yeah,
yes,
can
Bruce.
You hear me? Yeah. If anybody has any shred of doubt that Justice Department is now political, is all they have to do is watch Pam Bondi's flippant remarks. Our representatives represent the people, so the people were asking her question, and she's dissing the people with those flippant remarks. Michael Steele said that Republicans need to grow a spine. It's something else they need to grow, but I'm not going to say it on the radio.
Oh, God.
I think that they should have mandatory testosterone check of all Republicans before they can serve in Congress. I'm not going to make a Lindsey Graham joke here, even though there's one. The echo's so bad, I'm going to get off the phone. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bruce. Sorry about that. At some point, we're going to get that fixed. But right now, sorry about that. My great big apologies. All right, folks. So that is where we're at. I tell you what, it would be a good thing for folks to do, right? Go give Marjorie Taylor Greene a call, whether you are in her district or not, whether you're a Republican or Democrat. Call Marjorie Taylor. If you're a Democrat, tell her you're a Democrat. If you're a progressive, tell her you're progressive, and tell her thank you for doing something right. You know, last week, if you remember, I did a blog when I was watching I think it was NBC, and they it was MSNBC, as Speaker Johnson was on lying to the people in real time. MSNBC actually cut away from his speech in the middle of his speech and corrected. No, I didn't say contribute to her now. And I can't say that anyway. We're a 501c3. But what I can say is call her and give her a good word. I think it's important. But here's the thing, folks. Here's the thing. When they did the right thing, I went ahead and I immediately did a blog, right? I wrote a blog right away, and not only wrote it, but I made sure and sent that thing everywhere, all over the place. In every publication that I'm a contributor to, I put it on ahead of everything else that I was doing, to say, when people do the right thing, you give them the kudos. A few years ago, I was driving to KPFT, and I got stopped. And it was one of those stops where I know I did absolutely nothing wrong. But I got stopped. And the guy just wanted to know what was I doing in that Montrose neighborhood. It was late. I used to have my show at KPFT late at night. And he stopped me and pulled in. And, you know, at first he was apprehensive. I was really nice. I did all the right things. But he was very nice to me, right? And, you know, he just wanted who I was, all that good stuff, show my license, all of that. In fact, my insurance card, not the insurance, but the card was expired. And he said, you know, I can give you a ticket for that, but I'm not going to give you a ticket for that. I'm not going to give you a ticket for changing lanes in the intersection. I didn't change lanes in the intersection, but that's a pretext he used to stop me. And I came on that day on KPFT, and I commended the officer for his professionalism and etc. And the audience of KPFT were pissed off at me for giving kudos to this officer because he treated me like a human being. And I retorted and I said, look, I want, when people do the good things that are out of their character or whatever, I want to commend them. I want them to feel the appreciation of doing good, because it may be an incentive for them to continue doing good. And that's why I'm serious when I say give Marjorie Taylor Greene a call, or send her an email, or send her a fax, or whatever. Give people an incentive to do good. Let them see that you acknowledge when they do good. No pretext. And that's and by the way, that officer got a commendation from his the head of his department for the article that I wrote afterwards. Commended him on KPFT and then wrote a blog on KPFT. The whole set of folks started contacting me. The police department wanted to tell me who the officer was, etc. And then they gave him a commendation. Donald, come on in line one.
Good morning.
Good morning, brother. Talk to me.
Do right at a do right moment. You know, yesterday I was going to call in and ask you about your abacus and your slide rule. You know, when you be an engineer.
You want me to tell you the sad thing? I remember when I was coming to school being an engineer, right? Somebody did give me an aluminum slide rule. And I never learned how to use it because at that point, those the TI 90 was already on the market, and I got me a TI 90.
That's right. Now, isn't Marjorie Greene not running for the Senate and probably going for governor?
I thought she's still running for her seat. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought she was still running for her seat. I didn't know she was running for.
I think politicians lie. So let's see.
That's true.
Your fact-finding issue.
Yeah, well, if you put it out there, I'm going to put if she's running for governor and give you an answer rather quickly. Let's see if she's running for governor. She says she spoke about it. She said she's going to skip running for governor. So maybe she's going to do another run at the at her position.
Okay, and this is not funny, but you called it national, right?
Yes.
ICE?
Yes.
Yeah, that would make it nice, like that comedian said.
What should I say, Donald?
Everybody
I'm
loves
curious. Okay, Donald, I hear you. Anything else, my brother?
Oh, that's it. I'll talk to you later.
You have a good one. Take care, buddy. But
You
yeah,
too.
folks,
Bye-bye.
have a good one. The other two subjects that I need to cover, you guys can go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter to check it out. But I do want to say a few things about it. The rest of the world, China, India, all these bigger countries, they're out there going full-fledged on green energy. They're out there doing a whole lot of building outside of the United States, building not only material stuff but building relationships, something that we are not doing. We are not building relationships. Why am I telling you this? I saw an article yesterday, and the article spoke about in colonialism when we had colonialism with the Great British Empire. Well, let me back up. A lot of colonialism started with the Portuguese and the Spanish, and they killed people in the name of the throne, and they were very violent towards people. Then a new phase of colonialism came, and that was a British type colonialism. It wasn't as much killing, but it was about them controlling everything. You lived under their domain. The third part of this colonialism, as this author put it, is the United States and the way it handled the rest of the world. In other words, as long as you do what we want you to do, we'll make sure not to overthrow your government. But otherwise, everybody live in harmony. And he said the smartest form of colonialism is now occurring, and it's what China is doing with Belt and roads. Every time it gets a little bit more, I don't want to say better, it gets a little bit more fraudulent in the way it's done. Hurt less people. And that's what China is doing. As we're bombing in Israel, bombing everywhere that we go, as we're blowing up boats in the middle of the ocean because we have a drug problem, as we're doing all these things around the world, China is loaning money and building relationships and building harbors and building roads and building train transportation around the world. They're establishing relationships. As we as America fail to establish relationships right in our own backyards. This is what we've become. This is what we are becoming. Let me jump to the studio.
Well, the phones were kind of quiet today. I was expecting a little more interaction with the audience, but Jack says it's because you were on fire during your monologue. So
I noticed that the monologue
listening.
sometimes slows down the calls, and you remember at the beginning of the program, I did say that I had a lot to say. So, but I love you peeps. Yeah. Love you peeps. You guys must call in when you need clarification or when you want to add to the discussion or when you want me to shut up and say something else. Anyway, talk to me,
Jack, what
guys.
you got, man? Oh, he's gonna fall over.
The No Kings rallies, Discovery Green Park, 1500 McKinney, Houston City Hall, 301 Bagby. No Kings Woodlands is Lake Woodlands Drive at Six Pines Drive, Woodlands, Texas, 77380. The No Kings Conroe, Texas is 300 North Thompson Street, Conroe, 77301. So you can Google in on that. And I'm working on getting the other ones for Galveston, Pasadena, and Katy.
And let me tell you, the Kingwood one is at the intersection of Kingwood Drive and Lake Houston Boulevard. Kingwood Drive and Lake Houston Boulevard is the one in Kingwood. Jack, anything else? Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. I'll say it.
No, you go. Okay, great. Anyway, folks, listen. Remember the rest of the program at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. You can email me directly at kpft@politicsdoneright.com. kpft@politicsdoneright.com. It's a fact. I love you all, whoever you are. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government buy-in for the people.